for tuning into Power Athlete Radio. This week, we're featuring some of our favorite clips from past guests and a few of our most memorable stories to date. Also, if you like the music you hear throughout the podcast, please head over to Spotify and search Power Athlete-HQ. But not just yet, of course, because the fun is just about to begin. This is the best of Power Athlete Radio.
This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
All right, we're going to kick this off with a story from Dr. Tom Incledon, who's a really good buddy of John's and subsequently a really good buddy of Power Athlete HQ, but he's a really entertaining guy to hear tell stories. He has story after story of working with really famous or infamous athletes and strongmen and weightlifters, and the thing about Dr. Tom is he's very unassuming, so he is not even fully aware of the famousness or the celebrity of these people, which makes it all the more fun and makes him all the more of a humble guy. Here is him telling the story of learning to roll a frying pan with Bill Kazmaier in a Walmart. It's from episode 31.
Okay, so first, we were in, I think, Spokane, Washington.
Spokane.
And it was an NSCA Spokane, thank you. Because, so you know, when it comes to geography and time, I'm like the most ignorant guy on the planet.
And also with knowing who athletes are, I remember Tom called me once and he's like, he's like, I just got done working with this guy from the Yankees. I think they call him B-Rod or D-Rod or A-Rod. You're like, yeah, that's him. And then Tom's like, yeah, he's I think he's pretty famous, right? I was like, yeah, he's pretty kind of a pretty big name. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then that was the end of it. So go on about Spokane, Washington.
In my defense, you have to remember, I worked in a room with no windows for 2 years. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I didn't get much outside exposure. So when we're in Spokane, Washington, and there's this NSCA conference. And at the time, I was doing strongman competitions, and Bill Kazmaier had retired. He'd been retired for many years at that point. But there was a couple of young guys, up-and-coming guys that were really good. So they were doing this thing where they had these dumbbells, and they were bending rebar, and they were breaking wood and stuff like that. So I had met Bill Kazmaier years earlier. I knew some of the other guys, so I was kind of hanging out with them. And what happened was I was sitting with a bunch of people in the audience, and then they had these two 180-pound dumbbells. And the deal was they wanted to get someone from the audience to lift them and kind of do like a farmer's walk for a certain distance. And then if that person goes, they were going to have one of the strongman competitors do it. Well, a couple of guys get up and no one can lift the dumbbells. I mean, basically it's like 360 pounds. And when the dumbbells are that low to the ground, it is harder than like a standard farmer's walk type of apparatus. So no one was doing it. So I jump up out of the audience. I grab the dumbbells and I run down the field. So Bill's emceeing this and he's like, who? He goes, Tom, that don't count. Put them back. So we put the dumbbells back because, quote unquote, I was a competitor, so I should not have been, lifting the dumbbells. It was only for the other people. So then I started hanging out with these guys. So they had this girl punch through this wood. And it was kind of impressive. I was like, damn, she was like a tiny girl. Well, the wood was designed in a way that it would crack easy. So now, because I had messed with them by running with the dumbbells, Bill's going to play this joke on me. So he gets this wood that isn't as easy to crack or break through. And I don't know how to throw a punch. I was never a fighter or anything like that. It's like, well, you hit it like this, it'll break. Trust me. So now I go and I got to punch this thing. Well, I break it, but I wind up chipping a piece of a knuckle. So now I'm kind of pissed. So they're feeling bad. So like, all right, we're going to go out tonight. So we wind up going out to this bar. And so basically I walk through, no one says anything. I'm not like that much of a physically impressive type of guy. But now I got this strongman competitor behind me. The kid's like 6'7" or 6'6". And the guy's like, damn. Then this other guy comes on. He's like same height, but bigger. And the guy's like, oh, shit. And then behind, like the fourth guy behind is Bill Kazmaier. So when Bill walks through, the guy's like, what the fuck? Like Bill's head was so big, it was intimidating, like when he would walk through. So we're talking, drinking some beers, and Bill that day had rolled a frying pan, and I have never done that. I always wanted to learn how to do it. So the next day we went out, and I don't know what we were grabbing. I don't know if it was Walmart or a supermarket. But we grabbed some stuff, and there's all these frying pans just hanging there. And so we head over, and I'm trying to do it, and I can't roll a frying pan. Like, it's like you literally roll it up like a piece of paper. So Bill is showing me in the middle of the store, here's how you position it, and here's how you line it up, and here's how you do it. And then after that, I could roll a frying pan.
This next story is hands down one of my favorite. As I was compiling this best of, I laughed almost as aggressively hearing this story over and over again as I did when I initially heard it and Tex told it on the air. But this is the story that Tex tells about when he came home from a seminar to the place he was staying in Florida. At the time, he was training with RAF in Florida, and he was staying with a relatively older or seasoned woman, which he refers to as his roommate. But he came home to find her, unfortunately, no longer with us. And the way that I cope with tragedy is by laughing uncontrollably, apparently. So it was not meant to be disrespectful, but here's Tex telling the story and my doing my best not to make a mockery of the situation. Here's Tex from episode 46.
So I get home late, probably about 11 p.m. I go to sleep. I got to be up at 4:30 to go to RAF and finish up about 6 hours later and come home for a lunch break. And my roommate, her sisters are here going through photo albums, and they break the news to me that she had passed away on Sunday morning. So I only get an hour break before I have to be back on the clock, and it was kind of a surreal moment. I really didn't know how to take it, and then I had to go yell at some high schoolers. So it took a while to sink in. I texted Callie and Luke, and they didn't believe me. It was interesting to go back coach right after that.
So were you close to her?
Well, I've known her for a month that I've been living here, and you know.
How well do you know her?
We spoke daily.
Okay.
But
did you share meals?
Like
would you
pillow
guys share?
talk?
Well, the
Callie Hinsman.
That's some heart.
And you talk about R-rated. Well, there you go, Callie. No, the Olympics. The Olympics were on. You know, so that was kind of our opportunity to just bullshit under on the couch, not on the pillow, and just get to know that I just met on Craigslist. So.
Wow, Craig, that is one of the more. Kelly, please, composure. She's crying. She's crying, not of laughter. Well, that's a bummer, Tex, obviously, but you still have a place to live, right?
Yeah. So I'm staying here. We worked that out.
All right, nice.
Listen, we all die. I'm not laughing because of a death. I'm just laughing because
of life.
Of laughter and love and happiness.
Anywho, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's that's awesome.
Honestly, if every weekend, if it's not Tex having some sort of massive hiccup with travel, or
it's a death.
Yeah, it's a landlord death or something. But we call him the angel of death around here.
Well, I just think he's a drama queen.
Yeah, he's always complaining.
Always talking too much and full of drama.
Dang, Tex, you take a beating, huh?
I don't know what you're saying, Steve, but yeah. So how we can tie this back into something productive is I still had to go on, and I'm in charge of a high school down here. So it's Northeast High School in St. Petersburg, Florida, just to drive across the bridge. And so I had to go and yell at all these high schoolers. It's very interesting because I had to write those high school articles, and I talked about productive strength and conditioning. And meeting with these guys, we literally had to unlock and reorganize their weight room because it hadn't been used in 4 years. So these guys are the worst movers in the history of athletics. And if you look at their squad, the middle school across the street could beat them. So we talk about kind of training athletes, linear progression. I cannot put them on a linear progression because they will get hurt and possibly die. Hence the nickname. We talk about training diverse athletes, kind of with skills, abilities, and that's these guys. And I'm finding it's a challenge now dealing with different levels of motivation. You know, kind of a poorer high school, and they don't want to be there. Every time I kind of walk into the track to get them warmed up, they're like, "Ah, shit, he's back." They're back. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And then, like, I didn't have time to bask in this loss, I guess, and think about it. I got to be on point. I got to yell at some kids and make sure they're actually executing this shit properly because, you know, they went 1-9 last year. I can't imagine how bad the team they beat is. So coaching under chaos and still being effective.
This next one is from our conversation with Jesse Burdick, who is one of the most hilarious individuals I've come across in our conversations on Power Athlete Radio. And this conversation led us to talk to him about the status of his tan. That's correct, the color of his skin. And he also reminds us that Mark Bell has no understanding of the term moderation, as you might expect in this world of meatheads. We do tend to go over the top. Mark Bell is susceptible to that all or nothing mentality, and this led him to become temporarily purple for reasons that you'll find out. Also, this conversation is kind of funny because Jesse talks about his experience at Mr. Olympia and what it was like for him to quote unquote be like a normie walking among the otherwise very fringe population of overly tanned people. Enjoy this clip from episode 28.
Jesse, I asked, how's your tan? Is it looking good? I mean, you know, tan and shaved and...
Absolutely, man. I mean, there's for everyone who needs to know, it's called Melanotan 2. Go out there, dude, up on the interwebs, and you're all good, man.
Dude, but that's also an aphrodisiac, as what I remember.
It's amazing. It's actually like it's such a great well, let's just call it a research chemical because it's a family show. But it's remarkable. It's an aphrodisiac. It actually improves. It has a positive effect on insulin sensitivity. Makes you tan. Mobilizes fat mass. It's great, man.
Yeah, we had a guy at our cert in Vegas a couple years ago that literally did the entire cert without his T-shirt on. I mean, we were there like 8 in the Saturday morning, and this dude was just fucking shirt off and was not only probably like 215, 220, like 5'10", 5'11", pretty jacked, but was also, I mean, not only was he shredded, but he had probably the most amazing tan, like the type of tan that you would see in like a tanning salon commercial. And he literally just no shirt, just sat there, took the whole shirt, trained, no shirt, like didn't even bring a shirt with him for 2 days. Finally, I like looked at him and was like, dude, where the fuck did you get that tan? And he was like, Melanotan. The guy was like, my brother got diagnosed with skin cancer and they turned him on to this stuff and his tans look so good. I figured, you know what, I'll take this stuff. And I was like, you don't have to go to Hollywood to get a Hollywood tan because that thing is unbelievable. So
it is. It's great, and I mean, it was developed for positive reasons. And I mean, just like most stuff, then idiots like us get a hold of it and turn it into something else. But this is for people who actually are just very pale and who are very, it's not necessarily overexposure to sun that gets people, some sort of skin cancer. It's a reburn. So people who are very white, very pale, keep getting this burn and burn and burn. That's when your body, negatively reacts backs to to the sun. So people in like the Nordic region, way up in Iceland, up into the Arctic Circle, etc. They developed this so they would be able to take something. So when they would have exposure to the sun, because they go like 6 or 9 months without seeing the sun, and then they get it, and anything that they get, it's going to burn them, and then therefore cause them some adverse effects.
I think there are more tanning salons in like Norway and Sweden in there than anywhere, and those guys it's pretty hilarious. When we were in Norway, or in Sweden rather, they had like their very first sunny day, and like literally, man, there were like people like everywhere laying out. And the funnier part is they were like, this is our first sunny day. Everybody was tanner than hell. I mean, everybody's way more tan than me. And I was like, this is the first sunny day? It's like, no, dude, everybody goes to the tanning salon all day long, man. This is like you have to, you're going to be going into the post office with a machine gun.
Yeah. It's funny though. Belle and I were going somewhere to do a seminar, and Belle loaded up on the stuff early and took way too much. And what's interesting about that stuff is if you don't manage it properly, or you take more than you normally would, you can like change colors like 4 or 5 times during the day. So he took it and he gets this big rush and kind of turned this like really dark tan. I was like, whoa, dude, what the hell? And then he like got exposed to sun and he went like this black purple, and then it calmed down again, and we went back out in the sun and he went black purple again, and then it calmed down. I was like, what is going on with you? He's like, I think I just took way too much of that, the mulatto tan. It's killing me, man.
Dude, I saw the pictures from the Olympia. His tan was looking on point. I was actually going to comment. I was like, either he bought himself a tanning salon or a tanning bed in the house, like American Psycho style, or he found a better way to do it.
It's just so much a better, easier, more controlled way to do it with mulatto tan. And compared to everybody else, he looked well. There's no place to go to feel better about yourself in so many different ways, but like a trade show like the Olympia or like the Arnold Classic, I felt so normal and like good looking and just awesome, just seeing some of the freaks just walking around. It's just amazing. And Belle looked like above normal compared to what was kind of walking around at the Olympia.
This next one's with Jared Allen, and this is our episode with him and John, and he had a great time reminiscing at what it was like to live together as roommates and train together and play together. And it was kind of fun to listen to. Jared Allen is one of the most laid-back, kindest guests to date, and their cohabitation seemed like something between like a dorm room situation and obviously that element of being a professional athlete. So there were some unusual purchases being made, and here they are in episode 55.
I led the league in sacks that year, and all that good stuff. We had fun too. So
yeah, every Friday I would always lift weights, and then Jared would go and usually buy something ridiculous. So I'd come home and he'd be like, "I got Guitar Hero." And he'd fucking play Guitar Hero, and then it'd be like, "I got the fucking band," and we would just play stupid shit. So it was pretty funny, dude. I mean, just the fact that we were in a retirement home.
Buying something ridiculous. It was probably at the bargain basement. It wasn't like anything cool. It was just ridiculous, like Nerf guns, water pistols.
We also had feet-in pajamas. Remember that? Remember our feet-in pajamas?
Oh, you gotta have footy pajamas, dude, with the trap doors. No, there's only one way to go with that.
Yeah, dude, Jared's like, dude, I found this guy that'll make custom foot-in pajamas. They're only like $200, so I got like 5 sets. I'm like, sounds like a great bargain, I'm like, yeah, dude, like, how much you want for fucking foot-in pajamas? So I buy those things for like $3 a piece at Carter's because my kids.
Yeah, it was too cheap to buy a new car, so I had an old hunting Jeep that didn't have a top, and so it was wear like snowmobile gear driving to work every morning unless I could ride with John in his Bronco. It was great.
Yeah, and I had a top, and my Bronco actually ended up taking a shit on me because a mouse crawled up in the motor and ate all my wires. It was so cold that the mouse crawled inside my in the engine and fucking ate all my wires. I came out and the car wouldn't start, and I was like, what the fuck? So I call the dude, he like tows it, and he's like, yeah, some small rodent ate all your wires. So I was like, oh boy. So what do we do?
Yeah,
we shipped the car home and rode with Jared, and we just would suffer in like the middle of Kansas City winter with no top on his car, just riding in like hoodies and freezing.
You guys are all like millionaires.
Yeah.
But you get like a Cavalier.
What happens? You get all that money and you're just like, well, fuck it, I don't want to spend it.
No. What happens is that initially is like kind of the deal. Like you get in and you fucking kind of go a little crazy, and then all the dudes around you go so fucking crazy that you actually end up going the opposite way. And you're like,
you can see where they're heading, right?
Well, no, it's just like this silent protest. Like, you're like Trey Thomas, who I played next to in Kansas, in Philadelphia. He told me that so we had locker next to each other, and every day I'd come in, I'd like kind of like notice, like after a while you like notice a guy, always is wearing like looks like brand new clothes. And I fucking buy like a couple pairs of jeans a year, or wear t-shirts. I'm actually wearing the free Jared Allen t-shirt that he gave me a couple years ago. And like after all, like this is kind of, I'm just not gonna go out. Like it's not, the thought of having to go buy clothes is more of a pain in the ass than actually fucking getting new clothes. So like I just don't want to have to go get them. And I noticed that I was like, God, you know what? It's been like 2 years that I've never seen Trey wear the same clothes twice. And then I started noticing like tags on his clothes. So finally I was like, yo, dude, what the fuck? Like I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, well, I tell my wife at the beginning of every month to buy 30 like Pele warm-ups and like different warm-ups. He would wear like the, Sean John Pele warm-ups. He's like, I tell her to buy 30 of them, and I wear a new one every single day. I said when I made it to the NFL, I was never going to wear the same clothes twice. So he would wear the same or brand new, and then he'd go home that night, throw it in a bun. She would donate it or give it away or do whatever, and he would wear new ones.
This next story is one that I actually told about some incidents that went down at the Mid-Atlantic Affiliate Challenge when Luke and I had flown out there to compete, and during the competition, after the very last event, some very unsavory, yes, pun intended, unsavory things occurred immediately following the last event that led to some projectile vomiting. A lot of projectile vomiting. So if you do have children in the room while you're listening to this, I suggest you remove them. This one's from episode 53.
And then this thing happened and my arm stopped working. And so I had to put the barbell down, and I ended up getting them, finishing the last 5, and then sprinting to the end. But the funny thing is, after you do all that shit, your sprint pretty much looks like you're running in water or quicksand or slow motion or all of those things. You're Swamp Thing running through water and quicksand in slow motion. So my run is on video somewhere, and it looks fucking awesome.
Dude.
I don't even think my feet come off the ground. I'm just like gliding. So anyway, after that, we are all celebrating that this is the end, and we're just happy that, we're like, okay, that was a valiant effort, and go back to the tent. And after probably 20 minutes of decompressing, I go to reach for my coffee cup, which I had been drinking from throughout the day. It's a little Starbucks coffee cup, and I put it to my lips, and I take 2 giant drinks of it, like I chug it, and as soon as it starts to hit my stomach, I realize that it's not coffee, and in fact, it's dip spit.
Oh!
I know immediately. I make eye contact with one Bobby Goodfellow, the perpetrator, the perp, and I whimper his name, Bobby. And then we make eye contact. He turns around. He's like trying to sell a fucking shirt. And he turns around just in time to see me running out the door, nearly projectile vomiting on passersby. I make it outside the door. I vomit on the side of the building. I decide to go to a different corner of the building where I have a little more privacy. I vomit over there. And then I go to the bathroom, a family restroom, and I lock it, and I vomit in there some more.
The most disappointing part is she ran faster
right
after drinking dip spit than in the team competition
so,
with her teammates.
By the time I was able to get my life together and fucking come back inside, I looked like I had been crying and like somebody shot my dog, and I looked queasy, and people were like, "Oh, you're sick because you worked out so hard." And I was like, no, not at all. I don't exercise that hard, but I did just drink about 2 ounces of dip spit.
Hurley was a super animated and very unfiltered guest who we love, and he's a good friend of John's who joined us on 9/11. And at the onset of the episode, very early on, both Kyle and John were kind of discussing 9/11 and the history, and after a moment of silence, they went on to discuss exactly where they were, of course, on that fateful day, and how the NFL responded. I'll go ahead and let Kyle tell you why he choked out his coach in the parking lot. Here he is on episode 72.
No, but for me it was different. You mentioned the player thing, and the players wanting to honor the day, this and that and the other. There was a lot of players that did want that, but there was a lot of players that didn't want that wanted to play because of the threat from the National Football League that we wouldn't get paid. And so there was a lot of guys that were griping about money and all those other things. In New Orleans, we had a team meeting, and Jim Haslett, our coach, who I'm great friends with, and he's still a great guy, but we butted heads at times. And one of those occasions was 9/11, and we came into the it was on a player's day off, as you remember, John, and then we came in to have a meeting, and the coaches got everybody in there, all the people, the staff, and everybody from the organization. We had this big, huge, massive meeting, and Jim Haslett, all these rumors were going around before that we were going to take off and go fly somewhere to practice with another team, actually go to Pittsburgh and practice with the Steelers, because Jim Haslett had just come from there coaching with the Steelers, and we were going to practice with them for the week off that we were going to have. And for me, that was unacceptable. We're going to pick us up, take us away from our families, and we didn't understand what was going on, if there was still a threat there, if any more attacks were going to occur. And here they're talking about going right into the heart of it, back up to Pittsburgh, close by where one of the planes went down. It was unacceptable for me. I had told Jerry Fontenot and a couple of the other guys on the team that were older, that were being brought up to a meeting with the coaches, to tell them that I'm not going, and that they better not decide to go, because this is ridiculous. We need to stay put, and we need to let this thing, get figured out here first, and some time to settle. And the last thing we need to do is get away and pick up from our families. Let's not think of football right now. And the word came back down that we're going to Pittsburgh still. And so I was irate, and we had this team meeting. And Jim Haslett stands up there and he says, now, I know some of you guys are opposed to this, but I'm the coach, and this is the way it's going to be. And we've got to get our work in. We're going to fly up to Pittsburgh, and we're going to practice with the Steelers for the week, and we're going to stay there. Your families will be fine. They'll stay down here. And I just had enough. Right in the middle of him saying that, I just slammed my hands on the table, stood up on top of the desk, and threw a banana right past his ear into the wall behind him that exploded. And I said, I'm not going to Pittsburgh, motherfucker. You're going to Pittsburgh maybe, but I'm not. And I don't know that anybody else in here is. You guys can all go if you want. You guys are bitching about your money. You're bitching about this. Fuck y'all. I'm going to join the Marines. I'm out. And I jumped off the table and ran out of the room, and got my stuff in my locker and was heading out of the parking lot. And Jim Haslett and the team let out of the meeting just as I was coming out with my gear, and he confronts me in the hallway and he says, Kyle, what's wrong with you? And I said, fuck you. And I pushed him to the side and kicked the door open and pushed my way through the rest of the team, and went out to the parking lot. And he says to me, Kyle, what's wrong with you? He chases me out in the parking lot, says, what is wrong? After all I've done for you, this and that. And I lost it. I turned around because I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. All he did for me didn't make sense. Kicked my ass in practice. You're talking about maybe giving me another contract, which never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. But again, you're distracting from the point at hand. So I turn around and start choking him, of course. And Big Norman Hand, rest his soul, grabs me and picks me up, and Sammy Knight then grabs Jim Haslett and pulls him off away from me, and I go sit in my car for a while, and they tell me to cool down, and they have the security guys and all that there calming me down, and they all go back in and have another meeting with the brass, and we have another team meeting, and they go, okay, we're not going to Pittsburgh now. And it was funny, is all the management, everybody else in the offices, they came up to me later and they said, thank you so much. We didn't want to do that. But, the point was that there was so much selfishness going around, from the league down to the players and everything. We lose sight of this day. We take it for granted, and what happened still.
I once knew a nigga whose real name was William. His primary concern was making $1 million.
I've always kind of thought that comedians were some of the smartest people to be walking on this earth, and when we had on Eddie Ifft, he only validated that. He had a lot of interesting things to say. He has a very interesting perspective as well because of his being a host of the Wadcast podcast. So he comes in close contact with not only a lot of celebrities in the outside world, which is the non-CrossFit world, but he does come in contact with a lot of quote-unquote elite CrossFitters, and he talks a little bit about how that demographic can be some of the most narcissistic people out there, and they're not even on a stage. In fact, they're just in a box. Here's Eddie Ifft from episode 74.
I took I listened to one thing in college, I think once, and it was in a psychology class where the professor told us that if you took an orange and put it on TV every day for a month, like the fruit, an orange, and then rolled it down the street, after that month, people on the street would be going, look, that's that orange. That's that orange. And, if you're going to put yourself up in front of people enough and just self-promote and promote and promote and promote, eventually people are going to be like, who is this? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? I'm so interested. I can't wait. I need to know. And that's what, the internet has become. It's like everybody's just trying to make themselves famous by...
And honestly, we are those people as well.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, we are.
No,
that's why we're not as successful as
I think we just want to put out a good product and don't really care about hey, here's a picture of my junk in spandex with a proverb. I mean, that's.
And why have you been asking for all those pictures from me?
Why have you been sending me all those pictures?
I've been in the entertainment business for 19 years, and I can tell you honestly, I have never in those 19 years seen people more narcissistic than CrossFitters.
Oh, totally.
No shit.
Way more than anything else. I mean, the closest thing I can say are pageant girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like stand-up comedians who make a living doing comedy and aren't 1/100th of what a CrossFitter is about self-promotion and putting themselves up on Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff and posting videos of themselves. There was something about the CrossFit world and the use of social media and YouTube that was beyond. It was like a group of people found this place where they were like, I need to be seen. People need to see me. And I've never seen a group so active.
Isn't that so crazy? What is it? Is it like the training that makes people?
No. I think it's I think it's frenzy. So I think it's this kind of herd mentality. If this person's doing it, then I'm going to try to do it. Yeah, and it's kind of like if all of a sudden one person starts running. If you're in a group of people and one person starts running, other people will start moving away, where are we running? And I think it's just a lot of people, when they get into the CrossFit stuff, there's certain things,
it's
instantly,
so overwhelming.
Instantly you get in, you start wearing board shorts, nanos, you end up with skins. It's just a progression. And I think once all that stuff happens and then people get in shape and they kind of flow into it, there becomes this idea that now I have to publicize it. And, with the fever of a television evangelist. And then they just got to broadcast it out there, and it's it's pretty overwhelming, and with that becomes pretty high maintenance, Eddie. And you probably know the same stuff. I told somebody once, I'm like, I played with Tom Brady, and he wasn't as high maintenance as some of these CrossFitters I've met.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, I've been with the worst, and I've opened for some massive names, traveled with them on the road where where their rider and the way they act would never be anything like these and it's funny because I bring the CrossFitters over to my house, and we have a lot of the top CrossFitters over to do the WODcast. And the night before, I have people like Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond or Ty Pennington from Extreme Home Makeover, people who are really famous, really, really famous, and they don't come over with the attitude that the CrossFitters come over with.
And this last one comes to us from Dr. Squat himself, Dr. Fred Hatfield, who joined us and towards the end started to recall a pregame pep talk that he gave to the Chiefs before they played the Raiders once. And this is honestly one of the most moving speeches I had ever heard in real time, and it still gives me goosebumps to hear it over and over again. So if you're looking for motivation and you need a pep talk and you need some moving words, use this as your go-to. I think it speaks for itself. Here's the clip from episode 68.
Let me just tell you a little bit about passion so that your listeners will fully understand where we're coming from here. I delivered this particular talk, and it only take a minute, to the Kansas City Chiefs about 25 or 30 years ago, when right before they had a game with the LA Raiders, and it so stoked them up, man. After the game, the guys are coming up to me and saying, "Man, you got to write that down. I never heard anything like that," because it so motivated them. And here's what it is: passion. It's not commitment to excellence, rather utter disdain for anything less. Not endless hours of practice, perfect practice. Not ability to cope, rather the total domination of every situation in life. Not setting goals. Goals too often prescribe performance limits. And it's not doing what it takes to win. Instead, it's a burning commitment to do what no one has ever done before or ever will do again. It's not the need to achieve. Instead, it's doing what it takes to exceed the bounds of mere convention. It's not the force of skill or muscle. It's the irrepressible, sometimes explosive force of will. Now, if you believe in and practice these things, then for you, winning is neither everything nor the only thing, as the great Vince Lombardi once said. If you believe in and practice these things, then for you, winning has become a foregone conclusion. But if along the way you somehow stumble, profit from the experience, then vow by the power of Almighty God, it'll never happen again. So there.
Well, I can't think of a better note to end it on than that. So thanks to everyone for listening to Power Athlete Radio's Best Of episode. And remember, if you like any of the music that you heard on today's episode, bounce over to our Spotify page. That's Power Athlete-HQ.